Splash water bottles have got to be one of the most overlooked and underused items in this game. Like, even compared to furnace minecarts. The furnace minecarts look popular. They have been in this game for over 10 years now, and I think like a lot of people, I have never once used them intentionally in my survival world. Even when I'm brewing, I never see them, because I always do the gunpowder last. But the weird thing is, they actually have multiple uses. You can use them to extinguish fires mainly. Look at that. It does like a little plus sign. You can use them on campfires to extinguish a single one. Amazing, right? Incredible. You can, I believe, extinguish yourself. And you can use them to make mud. Oh, but you have to right click with it. And then it turns into a regular glass bottle. It's really weird. That's right, it's a multiple use item that never seems to get used. So sad, right? Well, let's face it, a lot of those things I showed you can be done in better ways. Water bucket's way more versatile, and it also extinguishes fires. Fire resistant potion just trumps a water bottle in the nether, right? So really, what is something we could use it for that nothing else does the job better? I struggled to come up with something. That was my goal for today, and I think I got something here. Very weird, kind of fun and cool. Let's first experiment here at our EnderEnder 2.0. This is the Enderman farm we used before our current one. And this is a perfect example of one other use of the potions here. So, Endermen teleport when you hit them with a splash potion. I think if you hit them with a harming, they do not die. I think they just teleport. Let's double check that. Yeah, you see that? So they don't actually die from potions. But a splash water bottle does damage to mobs that take damage from water. So that's blazes, striders, snow golems, and, of course, Enderman. And if you're the one that throws the potion, you get the XP orbs from it. So that is one potential use I can see with the water bottle. If you remember this Enderman farm, the way it worked before is you would actually use TNT to do a similar thing. Nowadays, though, we have sweeping edge and that kind of stuff, so this kind of thing isn't really that useful anymore. This is kind of dangerous. I'm gonna shoot the TNT and go down. Go down quickly, please. There we go. And it kills all the Endermen, and we get the XP orbs. But yeah, we kind of just went over this, didn't we? Like, yeah, we can use water bottles to kill Endermen, but sweeping edge just trumps that in every single way. It doesn't cost you anything. It's easy to do. Why would you ever choose a water bottle for killing Endermen over sweeping edge? You just don't, right? But what if I told you we could make an AFK-able Enderman farm with water bottles? Now that would be something special, right? That's something unique to them. That is our goal for today. First, we're going to do some snooping. What is over here, actually? An angry Enderman. Is there anything we can grab? Anything? Oh, whoa, okay, I need wool. Yes, perfect. Ender pearls, and ender pearls. Okay, let's get out of here. Yeah, so I took a little peek here at our EnderEnder 3.0. This is our current Enderman farm, and it looks like we're going to be able to add our system to this without having to build a new Enderman farm. We'll just have to do a little bit of tweaking around here. Ooh, I almost died. I gotta be more careful. I wanted the wool because this is only single layered. I want to double layer everything. And to be honest with you, our music randomizer here is kind of annoying me these days a little bit, so I want to try to change it up. Let's make it a little bit slower. Be more peaceful that way. Alright, very good. So we got our main area here cleaned up a little bit and double layered, so that should help prevent the Endermen from teleporting out of their chamber and annoying us on the platform here. Move the enchanting table and all that stuff down hidden below here. It's a little bit cramped the way I got this, but I don't use this all that often, and we still have it available if we need it. There's a crafting table here and a ender chest. Anvils are still there. So all it is a sticky piston, target block beside it, target block under it, and then redstone, torch, redstone. That's all we need for the redstone for this device. And what that does, whenever we reset this thing, the target block will extend, and whenever it gets hit by something, it will retract. Very quickly as well, by the way. That's important too. Aha. So what does that do? Well, the idea is we're going to have... Let's get our water bottles here. Probably we'll break a double chest full of splash water bottles. Like we'll have an auto brewer set up here. Those will all fall into the ground right next to us. And if we have some stuff in our inventory, all we really need to do then is to stand here, hold right click. And then all those bottles should start going into the system nice and quick. And we can probably put 50 to 100 in here nice and easy. And then they kind of just make their way around the loop here over and over and over. Here they come. So they're floating around on the soul soil. And there's water streams pushing them sideways. And the key to this, the reason why we don't just throw them into like a vertical bubble column is because we want to have that spacing between them. We don't want them to clump up on us. And it's extremely important these don't clump up on us, because if they do, if all the water bottles merge together on us, when we go to activate one of them, they're all going to break on us, right? And we don't want that. We want to spread them out over several minutes or hours, breaking one at a time. And to help ensure that happens, I made sure before we built this that the water streams are all within a single chunk. So if we leave the area and come back, they don't start clumping together at the chunk borders. So the hopper clock will send a pulse to reset this. And water bottles, when they hit the target block, it counts as hitting the target. So that lets out a redstone signal. And it's also within range of the Endermen, so that they die from the splash potion, and they drop their XP for us to pick up, as well as their ender pearls. And if you're holding a looting sword, I believe you get extra ender pearls at the same time as well. Another little problem we got here is I built this farm before entity cramming was in the game, so we can only hold like 24 guys in this chamber before they start killing each other. But we want to try to get a full-blown, like, 70 Endermen per water bottle we break here. Get maximum effectiveness, right? So I'm going to expand this to make it 3 blocks wide. Hopefully. Hopefully they're still within range of the water bottle. I think we can break this then. Yeah. They have more space. They won't cram each other. Okay, got them all. Good. Awesome. Okay, so I just finished setting up the rest of our systems here, and we just got to do a little bit of testing, and I'll show you how this all works now that we got it complete. So obviously, we can still use this as a regular Enderman farm. I put wool underneath here as well, and there's 5 spots for the Enderman, and that just about gives us enough space so that they don't entity cram themselves. We're probably at about 60 or so Endermen in there, if I was to guess. We got an auto brewing system set up, as well as a hopper clock set up over here as well. So this is responsible for resetting our target block every so often, however often we want to kill the Enderman. I got it set to 48 items at the moment, and that seems pretty close to what we need, but again, I'll test it a bit more and do some tweaking here. But that's about 40 seconds. So in total, we would need 90 splash water bottles per hour. And that's like 90 glass and 30 gunpowder costs per hour of running the farm, which ain't too bad. Okay, so we got an auto brewer over here for making the splash water bottles. I don't have to do anything. I just have to load it up with ingredients at the top. Over here, water bottle or empty bottles, gunpowder, and blaze powder if we want. And this thing is just chugging along. It's running on a hopper clock as well. We can't do the trailing netherwort trick with this because we only need 1 item to brew the potions, and that requires, I think, at least 2. So this was actually a little bit of a head scratcher. I had to design a brand new auto brewer that I've never done before. You can see the hopper clock in the back there, and then, yeah, there's not really much to it, honestly. We got an auto bottle filler in there as well on the side. Maybe I'll get you a couple different angles here just in case you're curious. But yeah, it's kind of hard to see stuff in the end here. Can't just look around, or there's void everywhere, you know how it is. And then this thing over here is our chamber for... I wanted a controlled way of getting the water bottles without them flying everywhere. So the way this works, we'll have 3 double chests filled of water bottles. Just the bottom one's full at the moment, so we'll just do 1 to show you. But I put ender chests here so we can break through that, but it's not big enough of a gap for the bottles to fall out. Then I hit the note block here. It makes the piston push the bottles forward. And you can see we can stand here and we should be able to pick up all the bottles if I tested this right. And just hold right click until they're all gone here. We might pick up the chests at some point here as well. There they are. So once we get the chests, then we replace those. And I think we can just fit them through here. The little gap between the ender chests. Alright, that's replaced. Is there any more bottles here? No, we got them all in. Cool. And yeah, we can put several hundred bottles in here, I'm pretty sure, without a problem. Okay. Yeah, there we go. So it just automatically kills them like that. You get all the XP and stuff. It's so cool, actually. I love this thing. It's so fun watching it. Let's check out the target block triggering here as well. So you'll notice the water bottles are kind of clumped together. But even when they're super clumped up like that, it's not a big deal because they only hit that like 20% of the time they go by. So even if there's like 5 of them all together like that, probably only one of them is going to hit on average. After a little bit of testing here, I think we do want to speed this up a little bit. I'm going to get rid of maybe 5 or 6 items. Let's do 6. Because I ran out of XP while standing here, and it should be like a constant flow. We should never run out, is the idea. And the reason you might want something like this too, by the way, is you can just kind of stand here and do your anvil work, and you don't have to constantly keep turning around and getting interrupted while you're trying to do your repairs or whatever mass production you're trying to do with your gear. Is pretty cool. Okay, let's see if we run out of XP this time. I'm just gonna wait here for a bit. Oh, it just ran out and still hasn't triggered. Okay, we gotta get rid of a few more items than that then. Maybe every 30 seconds this needs to trigger, not like every 40. Cool, cool. All right, let's move on here. We're over at the trading area. I used this for the first time today to get the glass bottles for that auto brewer. And my goodness, this thing is amazing. I can get like a full shulker in under 2 minutes now, like in a single trade run through here. Yeah, I just did a proper time trial on this, and we got 30 stacks of glass in pretty much exactly 2 minutes of trading, and it costed 7.5 stacks of emeralds. And then by the time you get through all the villagers, they're already refreshing, and you can go again and get another shulker box if you want, which is really cool. So our goal today, we got to do some building around here. This is how we left things. We don't have any walls in here or anything like that. I struggled a bit figuring out what I wanted to do here because if we go with this, it's going to be way too brown, I think. So I'm going to try incorporate some like moss blocks and some copper and just try to get a couple other colors mixed into the floor. I really struggle with building like this where you have a highly repetitive pattern and very little shape. It's like, how am I going to make this look good? All right, everybody. Well, check it out here. We got ourselves a weird little floor pattern figured out. This is a bit out of the ordinary for me. I usually don't do patterns like this for my builds, but I thought it suited this build, especially since we're trying to add variety to it. And by mixing in a bunch of different blocks together like this, definitely adds variety, right? It also adds a bit of color to the build. We got more reds and greens mixed in, and I don't know if I'm going to keep this or not, but I put light gray wool on the outside here just because it looked a little bit lacking without it. But I might change that to some other color carpet. I'm not sure yet. Alright, everybody, this is several hours later. I've been building away here, having a good time, but man, I gotta say, this project, it's given me flashbacks a little bit to the Nexus, this ultimate enchanting room. It's got that never-ending feeling to it, you know? This room was deceptively a lot larger than I initially realized, and it's in a good place now, though, I think. I'm pretty happy with the floor we got in here. It's really growing on me the more I see it. We did like a fading thing here. We go from the dark oak to the spruce to the oak, then to the birch, and then back again to the dark oak. And I think that's kind of cool, right? I don't think I've done that before anywhere else. So I thought that might be a fun thing to try here. And instead of like keeping it perfectly straight everywhere as well, you notice it goes like oak to spruce here, which is a little bit odd for what I normally do. You know, it kind of zigzags a little bit, and that creates some fun patterns as well, I think. And at the very end of this tunnel, we have ourselves a big old mushroom wall. Why? Well, because I figured it looked a little better than having stone and granite showing here, but this is also just hopefully going to be a temporary thing until we decide what we're going to do. Like, is this going to be a passageway that leads to another big room over here? or is this going to be a dead end? If it's a dead end, I'll try to make this look cooler, right? But if it's a passageway, we're going to bulldoze that and empty out a big area over there, right? So you got to figure out what we're doing. In the ceiling here, we do have some leaves just for a bit more color and variety in the build. Also, we went for lamps every second post instead of every single one because that looks really repetitive. And same with the arches up here. We got them every second post just so there's a bit more variety in the build, even though it is still quite repetitive, I gotta say. But it has to be for the redstone and that, and for the room to function the way it's supposed to. Yeah, so we also have the area up above there with the villager trading. So it's a little strange. We have a tunnel below and a tunnel above, and they're stacked right on top of each other. And no way to get to the top one right now. So I'm kind of planning maybe we'll have like a platform at this level, and then a staircase on each side that will lead up to it. Like it'll go forward and then curve to the right here. And that way it doesn't block the bottom tunnel as well. But for the time being, the only way up there is to fly. And this is our villager trading area now. Now, I gotta admit, once I got to this part of the build, I was a little bit in let's get this done mood. So it might be a little bit plainer, a little bit less variety up here. But we also had more restrictions for building here, which made it kind of difficult, especially the floor. So this is actually the ceiling down below, right below the carpet here. And I couldn't go lower, and I couldn't go higher, because if I go higher, then we're up. Like, let's say we put a slab here, for example. Then I can't really trade with the villagers, right? So we were kind of limited on keeping this carpet, and there's only so much interesting things you can do with carpet. And also this is also part of the ceiling, so you know, it's like, okay, let's try this, and it's good enough, I think. Yeah, so the storage part of our ultimate enchanting room is just about done. We're probably only a few hours away from finishing this now that the building is done, and most of the redstone is finished here as well. We just got to hook up the rail lines, like make them do a full loop, and then feed it to shulker boxes to fill up the system, and as well as buckets need to be filled with water, so we'll need a water bucket machine, and then it's about ready to go, I'd say. And then we got to build our enchanting area in this room, as well as probably some system for blowing up bookshelves to get books so that we can actually trade with the villagers for enchanted books, because we'll need like hundreds or thousands of them. And then we need probably some kind of mob farm built here so we can get XP. And I just realized we never finished building the auto sorting system for our trading hall. And then we're going to do the armory stuff. So yeah, we're pretty close to done here. Yeah, for sure. You know what though? Even though this area isn't finished yet, we're getting a ton of value out of it already just by trading with the villagers here. They're so handy. And they're going to come in handy for this next project we're going to be working on here. As many of you know, 1.19.4 is out, and that's what we're playing here. And there's something I'm very excited about in this update. I'm, of course, talking about Project Super Mule. I want to make it our goal to get a perfectly statted mule in our world here. So 15 hearts. It's got to do a 5.5 jump and 14.23 block speed. Or, you know, at least 14 blocks per second. Would be the dream. Can we do it? I don't know. So that involves us perfectly breeding up a donkey and a horse and then breeding them together. And I want to try to get all of them. And also while I'm doing it, I'll probably breed llamas too, because I haven't got a 15 slot llama before either. And I think it'll just be a fun thing for us to do, because I'm a big fan of horses in this game. I know elytra wings have kind of replaced them, but it's still a fun way to explore, and especially to look around your world. You don't really get that view from up in the sky, while it's pretty cool to just run around on ground level at super speed, you know? So how hard is that gonna be to do? I am not sure. That's what I'm wondering. So they've changed the breeding so that you shouldn't hit a brick wall anymore. So last time I did this was on Hermitcraft Season 8, and I was breeding for speed and jumping, and I got to about 80% of the potential, and then I just couldn't get any further than that. So from what I've heard though, we shouldn't hit that brick wall. It should always be relatively easy to progress. Now, I've learned from experience, don't try to do this all at once. It can take many hours to do, and you'll burn yourself out if you try to get the perfect horse all all in one shot. Spread it out. I'm going to try to give you little progress updates every episode until it's done. Today we're just getting started on it. I've gathered together our best motley crew here I could find. So we got two donkeys from the wild. Those always have the same exact stats. You cannot breed bone horses, unfortunately. They are really cool because you can ride them underwater, but you can't really get a fast one. Or I've never gotten a fast one. These are the ones we have currently. This is our best one. Got crazy health, and he's actually decently fast and a decent, well, he's an acceptable jumper, let's say. But yeah, we can't breed those. This is our best horse we've ever found. I love this guy. He's fast. He's got 13 hearts, and I think he was a good jumper. Average jumper, anyway. But yeah, he's pretty close to good as he is. And then our second best horse is this guy over here. Also 13 hearts. A little bit slower, you can tell. And also not the best jumper. We have gathered some supplies here as well. We got horse armor. This is great for marking horses in case you want to keep track of who the parents are and that kind of thing. What the good horses are. Give them a special color code. You can use leather armor for that as well, or the saddles. Or just name tag them, but that's a little bit extra work. We got a bunch of saddles here. We got some carrots from our villagers. And sugar is also very nice when it comes to breeding horses. It can save quite a bit of time. So we feed them the golden carrots. And we get the baby horse. Now, to actually see if it's good or not, we have to make it grow up. So that's where the sugar comes in handy. Even if you wait, like the 5 minutes for them to grow up, it's not really worth it because when it comes time to taming them, you're going to waste at least a minute or two if you haven't fed them sugar. But if you fed them a ton of sugar, you get it the first time always, I think. And then you don't waste a bunch of taming time. So the way we do this is we check if the health is good first. So that both our parents had 12 hearts and the baby has 12 hearts. So that's acceptable. We just don't ever want to go lower. Then we check the jumping. For testing the horse jumping, snow slabs seem to do the job very well. They seem to be accurate enough. Just remember, you always got to subtract 1 from the amount of slabs you have. So a single one doesn't raise the horse up at all, while 2 of them is 1/8 of a block, 3 is 2/8 of a block, 4 is 3/8 of a block, and so on and so forth. So even though we have 8 snow slabs here, it's 1 7/8 of a block right now, 1 short of 2 blocks. And our baby can do that jump. Can it do 2 blocks? 1 higher? No, it can't. So that is the limit on this baby. Is that better than the parent? Let's find out. All right. The parent horse is able to do that. Yeah. And can it do 2 blocks? It can. So the parent is better. In that case, I would get rid of the baby. We want an improvement on all 3 stats to go forward. But if we ever get a baby that's better than one of the parent horses in all 3 stats, then we kill the parent horse and the baby becomes the new parent that's slightly better. And if we do that over and over and over again, eventually we will have the perfect donkey and the perfect horse. But it's going to take a lot of time. I'll show you how I'm going to do the speed testing here as well. It's the hardest stat to test, so you do that last. Like if the first 2 aren't good, then don't bother with testing the speed because it takes the longest. And is the most inaccurate to test in vanilla. Obviously, if you're using a mod, it's a lot easier to do. But here's our little timer thing. This is probably the simplest accurate timer you can make for doing this. You just, you want to make sure you hit a fence gate before you start so that the horse gets aligned and is always in the same exact starting position. And I align our cursor to the middle of the cobwebs here. We got 20 cobwebs. We hold forward. You saw the piston on the left there push the observer forward, and that starts up a clock. Observer clock is bouncing back and forth there. And that is sending items from the droppers into the middle chest on both sides. This takes a very long time. I'm being super accurate here, though. I got with the 20 cobwebs. You can get away with less, but I want to make sure we see a difference, you know? So last time I tested this, the donkey did 3 stacks and 55 items. And 3 stacks and 55 items. So that's the other key. You want to make sure it's accurate every single time. If it's not a good timer. But yeah, this dropper shoots items on the left side. This one shoots it from the right side. And then when you're done with the test, you mark down the results and put these back in there, and you're good to go again. And with this timer, each item represents 1/10 of a second. So you can see how quickly it adds up here. All right, everybody, we are back here again in the end to maybe correct a little mistake I made earlier in the episode. I was just watching my video, getting it ready to finish up, and I realized I didn't make a point clear that I probably should have. So I don't know if what we did here with the Enderman farm is a new idea. I've never seen it before, but I can't keep up with everything going on in the Minecraft community. But just in case this is a new idea, I thought I'd make the point clear. This killing mechanism we did for the Enderman with the potions can be applied to all other mobs in the game, I'm pretty sure. Not just Enderman. I thought these guys would be the funnest though, because it's a mob you can't normally automatically kill. And also water bottles, they never get used, right? The splash water bottles. But let's say you're farming creepers, you just use instant damage potions instead. And if you have your sword selected, when they're automatically killed with the instant damage potion, then you also get the looting effect, and you get extra gunpowder. So it's like an actually useful killing mechanism in the game. And I'll probably be using it more in future farms. Or you can use it on guardians, or, you know, whatever you want to farm. If you're doing undead mobs, you gotta use healing potions instead, though. Anyways, I guess with that said, everybody, let's get to the comment of the day, which says, "Hey, Etho, would you consider making a Wilson 2.0? In your 550 World Tour, you mentioned that Wilson was you pushing the limits of the newly added redstone features." Yeah, so the redstone update just came out, and there was a lot of cool stuff in Wilson. Like, first for me for redstone, for sure. Like, the first hopper clock was in Wilson. My first counters, I believe, were in Wilson, like using droppers in that. First variables, first math. There's like addition and subtraction in Wilson. There's a really cool variable randomizer in Wilson that I haven't really used ever since then. And a bunch of stuff, right? It's a very, very interesting project to work on. Redstone has since evolved pretty dramatically since then, so it would be pretty cool to see how you would iterate on Wilson 1.0. Yeah, if I actually planned this project before I started it and like took advantage of all the new stuff added in the game, I'm sure we could do something pretty cool. The problem I kind of ran into with Wilson is it became a little too complicated to explain in the episodes. Like, it was great at first when we were working on the face. I think that was the first thing we did. It was a very visual thing. You could easily see what I was doing. Or even when I was working on the components, like one by one, I could break them down and explain them. But where Wilson really became a problem is when we got to like this point. And I'd be back here and I'd be like, all right, everybody's ever gonna connect this wire over here and it's gonna do this and this, and I'd have to like try to break down the whole thing and re-explain everything every time I worked on it, and it just, you couldn't follow anything, right? So ever since then, I've been a lot more careful about what kind of complex projects I do. Like, I want to make sure it's something you can visually understand, and it's not just a pure redstone mess like this, right? Or if it is a pure redstone mess like this, a lot of times I'll just quickly explain it and do it off camera kind of thing. But yeah, Wilson 2.0, not really high on my priority list, mainly because of this problem. But I'm not going to count it off. You know, it might be something we do eventually, because I think it would be fun. Oh, what's this say? Pulse system to reduce health by 6 per update. Uh-huh. You guys understand what that means, right? Obviously. I added signs to this because I had to relearn it every time I worked on it, and it was driving me nuts. Piston prevents health boosts during sickness. Oh, okay. Just in case you didn't know. What's this one? Deathline. There's a deathline in Wilson, obviously. Anyways, hopefully you guys enjoyed today's episode. Thank you for watching. Until the next one, take care. Have a good day. Bye-bye.